The Borderlands series is two types of games, good games and bad games. Today, we're gonna be beating Badlands The-Pre Sequel without guns. Let's just get into the fucking run already. I named my character Jacking Off, a play on words so advanced and articulate that even Socrates would cream his nipples over this name. After creating the perfect handsome Jack doppelganger in the womb that is my slimy fingertips, we awoke on the Helios space station. We had no time to waste though, because the station was under attack, and your favorite Uncle Zurk was hired to kill the invaders. After watching our beloved blue claptrap die and fishing some marines, we found the real handsome Jack. But he was under attack, so we had to help him. After dying in the literal first 10 minutes of the run, I realized just how hard this challenge was gonna be. But you know what they say, the more challenging a run is, the closer you get to feeling what it's like being butt-fucked by a black dude packing 13 inches. Anyways, we killed the rest of the Space Marines and we got Jack up on his feet, but we were attacked by some turrets shortly after. Thankfully, the turrets were at a height where I could punch them, so this wasn't a big deal. You know what is a big deal though? Colonel T Zarpadon. I'm just busting your balls. This is just a cutscene, you freaking idiot. The real big deal was us unlocking our action skill, baby. This shit was gonna be our Durex condom this run, but instead of avoiding pregnancies, it's gonna avoid this run from being completely undoable. After killing a few more Marines, we were face to face with Flame Knuckle, and thanks to our digiclones and meathunks, we took down Flame Knuckle with ease. Jack bugged out, some unimportant shit happened, and we got launched to the fucking moon. We woke up to some lesbian Australian chick regurgitating weird words into our ears. Even though I don't speak Australian, I was able to understand oxygen and grapes. So I opened up the container I was shot out of, and we made our way to Janie's little hideout. She told us we needed an Oz kit if we wanted to survive in this hood. So we used these fists of ours to kill some Kragans and bust open the locks to this door, where we found ourselves an Oz kit. Of course, Janie, being the greedy bitch she is, she wanted us to kill Deadlift in return for giving us an Oz kit. So we fought our way through a bunch of scav scum, used myself as a fuse to power a jump pad, and we were now ready to fight Deadlift. Honestly, I'd be lying to you if I said this boss fight was hard, because it wasn't hard in the slightest. I took him down in like 30 seconds, so yeah. With a firm grip on a Digistruct key, we made our way through Kragan's Pass, killed more scavs, and made it to a Moonzoomy station where we got our first car. We returned to Janie and she gave me an Orbitron so we could get access to the pre-sequel sanctuary, Concordia. We swore at a robot, gave the same robot an Orbitron, and we were now in Concordia, where anal exams are free and Nurse Nina mend you good. Here we tried talking to the Marif about the Helios jamming signal, but he wasn't having any visitors, so we went to visit the hottest, cutest, and sexiest NPC in all of Borderlands, Roland, the chocolate tsunami. But of course he wasn't any use either, so we went to Moxie. She told us to get some moonstones so we could buy some transmitters from Earl. So we bought the transmitters and climbed some buildings so we could intercept the signal. We did some advanced computer bullshit and found the signal was coming from Crisis Scar, so you know where we're going next. But first, we had to find a way out of Concordia because the Marif locked down the city. The Australian claptrap with a mustache told us where one of Moxie's secret entrances were, and we walked in on Moxie singing a true hood classic, Bubbles and Birds. Moxie said something about shallow graves, and we were off to Crisis Scar. We met Scavtrap, and he told us we had to kill some Darksiders if we wanted to join his gang. So we fisted Wally Wrong and Fair Dinkum and the rest of the Darksider scum that infested this building, and returned to Scavtrap. He told us the password to the secret entrance, and the RedBelly gang let us in with open arms. Little did they know that I wasn't there to join their gang, and I was actually here to kill RedBelly. The gang quickly realized what we were up to and they started to attack us. We fought through a ton of scav and eventually found ourselves at RedBelly's base. We killed some scavs, killed more scavs, and finally found ourselves face to face with RedBelly. Thanks to our digiclones and butt slams, we took down Red and Belly with ease. We destroyed the relays interrupting Helios space signal and returned to Concordia so we could talk to the Marif. But first we needed a plan. So after some quick thinking and some naughty voice recordings Moxie had between the Marif and Serena, we decided we would use the voice recordings to get Blue Claptrap to open the Marif's door. Not so long story short, it worked and I was now in the Marif's office. We fought through some lunatics and scavs, watched Blue Claptrap fucking kill himself, watched a terribly painful to watch in-game cutscene, and went to Janie Springs, who gave me a scrambler so we could get our first stinger. With our meathunks on the steering wheel of a brand new stinger, we jumped a gap, fucking died, and traveled to Outlands Canyon. After having a run-in with some scavs, we met Pickle, an extremely obnoxious Australian boy that most definitely smells like vinegar and soiled tidy whities. Anyways, the new plan is to build a robot army. I would tell you why, but the pre-sequel story has the consistency of a bitch with bipolar disorder, so I really couldn't tell ya. Anyways, we traveled to Outland Spur, where we killed some scav meat, beast riders, and a whole bunch of other enemies. After clearing out the area, we tried crossing a bridge to Dragonsburg, but it wouldn't be a Borderlands game if there wasn't a bridge that you couldn't cross the first time you try. I tried to override the bridge controls so I could cross the lava lake, but some dick-ass named Bosun blew up the bridge, so we needed a new plan. After a few seconds of thinking, we realized we could dump methane on the lava and cross, but it's never that fucking easy, is it? God damn it! Okay, so before dumping the methane, we have to get the pumping station flowing with all its juices again. For all the people out there that are gonna attempt this challenge for themselves, just know that this will be the first time you ever truly feel what it's like to flush time down the shitter. After about 30 minutes of pointless Borderlands bullshit, we finally dumped the methane and crossed the lava bridge to Pity's Fall, where we killed a bunch of raiders, which are literally scavs with a different name by the way, and made it into Dragonsburg. Now, the command center. This shit was brutal. It's pretty hard to kill anything when all you have is your meat hunks, and the AIs in this game have the brain of Jimmy Neutron. But hey, that's why I'm here, to torture myself in the virtual world of video games for your entertainment. So like a newborn baby and a pussy tight as the lid on a pickle jar, I pushed through that shit and got to the engine room. Thankfully, I was able to stick my grenades near the flow regulators and destroy the power stabilizer without too much trouble, and we could finally watch as the engine flew away. Anyways, we watched Poop Deck get absolutely splattered, deactivated a force field, and found ourselves face to face with Bosun. Although his shield generators were kind of a pain in the ass, the boss himself was actually extremely easy. I just kept butt slamming his head until his skull caved in, and just like that, the boss was dead. After that, we continued our search for a military AI we could use for the robot army we were gonna build. Turns out Skipper was the dollar store Cortana for the job, so we collected her and headed to the train station. I gotta say, this part was totally off the rails. Get it? 'Cause the train? Anyways, we took the train to the Titan Industrial Facility where we were gonna make our robot army. I turned into an exterminator and cleared a torque infestation, did the same with some bandits, and got the Inspire skill. This skill is absolutely necessary if I want to succeed in this run. Some scientist dude named Gladstone echoed us for help, so me being the hung Chad patty cake I am, I rid the bandit scum in the area and met Gladstone. He told us he was working on a constructor bot that could destruct an infinite number of loaders, and of course, we needed to get the parts for it. So we made our way to the robot production plant, but we were stopped by some dull power suits. Not that it mattered, because our corrosive Oz kit and the festering shit that was resting in our underpants made butt slamming the power suits way too easy. We entered the robot production plant to be greeted by some scavs. I'm sure you can guess what happened to them. After that, we blew up a door with some cryo barrels, turned on the power, summoned some security bots, killed the security bots, collected their eyeballs, placed their eyeballs in this machine, and picked up the completed Oculus. Is the pre-sequel story making sense yet? Jokes aside, we were finally ready to build our own constructor bot. Building the bot was a bit of a process, but pointlessly long story short, we installed Felicity and this big-ass robot, and together we collabed on some serious scav bandit dick. After that, we attached the legs to the body and we were almost in business. We killed some more bandits and finally installed Felicity. Now, you're not gonna believe this, but our robot turned into a boss fight. I bet you never saw that coming. Surprisingly, this boss was like a prisoner taking dick for the first time. Hard at first, but makes it a lifestyle the second time around. Jack hit us with that inspiration as Felicity and I died, and we headed back to Concordia to claim our rewards, which was a laser weapon we couldn't use, a shield, and a grenade mod. Honestly, not too shabby. Feeling confident in our new gear, we headed to Hyperion Hub of Heroism, where I actually had quite a bit of fun. This new grenade mod Moxie gave us kicked ass, and the map was pretty pleasing to look at. When we tried to get to the Eye of Helios, Colonel Zarpadon blocked our path, so we needed a claptrap to help us get to Jack's office. So we dug one out of a broom closet, and he agreed to help us. After watching our claptrap integrate with a fuse box and listening to a racist hot dog on our Echo for several minutes, we made it to Jack's office in one piece. He told us to go save a bunch of scientists or something, so we headed to research and development. This whole mission is just filler and honestly not worth talking about, so this is where I ask you to subscribe if you're enjoying the video, and maybe even follow my Twitch if you're feeling nice, because I'm streaming a Borderlands 2 challenge run on Twitch as we speak, and you definitely don't want to miss it. Anyways, to sum this mission up, we just spent like half an hour doing pointless chores to convince some scientists to help us. Not like it matters though, because spoiler alert, they're all gonna be vacuumed into space in a few seconds anyways. Told you. With the scientists dead and my penis flaccid with regret, we traversed the veins of Helios, killing any infected Hyperion guards we found on the way. We destroyed all the plasma regulators, blew a path to the lunar launching station, where I died to common enemies more times than I'd like to admit, and entered the command station, where we had a beautiful view of our next objective, the Eye of Helios. In preparation for the Eye of Helios and probably the rest of the game, I grabbed myself the snowball grenade and was on my way to destroy myself a laser. In order to get to the laser though, I had to disable the force field's power sources, which went exactly how you'd expect for someone 4 levels under. But since I'm better than everyone else, I pushed through and eventually disabled all the power sources to the door, which allowed me to travel to the Eye of Helios, where we were finally face to titanium mech suit with Zarpadon. Now all I have to say about this boss is at first, I tried, and in the end, I did. With Zarpadon out of the way, we shut down the laser and headed back to the command center, where we tried to retake control of the laser, though a singularity formed and it fucking blew up. So yeah, we were betrayed by Moxie, Roland, and Lilith, who were the ones supposedly helping us in case you weren't paying attention. With Jack's broken hero arc now begun, we traveled to Virago's Solitude, got inspired by a death threat.
Oh, say one more word to me, and I will make your death slow. What are you? That was 3. I'll be seeing you soon.
And ran into another boss, the RK5. You see, this boss was a little different from the rest, because this fucker could fly. Now I did get the snowball earlier for reasons such as this, but it just wasn't gonna be enough. Each grenade was barely a tickle to his prostate, and I didn't have the health for this, so I was gonna have to farm. I headed to Triton Flats and farmed the Darksiders for a couple hours and got to level 26. Now it was time for a fair fight. We whittled the RK5's health bar snowball by snowball and finished him off with a badass trick shot. Boom, baby, yeah! We're now at the beginning of the end of the game. We fought some Lost Legion Eternals, died once, and decided those guys can go fuck themselves and skipped over most of the enemies in this area. Then, something terrible happened. After everything we worked for, everything we've done, I was forced to use a cannon to blast open a shield. Meaning, you can't beat Borderlands The-Pre Sequel without guns. Please hit that subscribe button so the time spent playing the pre-sequel wasn't a total waste. Despite the recent tragedy, I think it would be a little silly to not finish the game at this point, so I grabbed my balls and put them in the proper sack before heading to the final boss. No, Gearbox Australia, fuck you guys. Australian bitches. Ugh! Ew, bitch! Okay, one more thing before the final boss. With the power of our insanely fat ass, we took down the OFA Superior and finally entered the vault and met the Sentinel, Guardian of the Vault. This boss had multiple phases, but honestly, they were all child's play compared to the RK5. Thank you so much for watching, cum connoisseurs. If you made it this far, be sure to comment #ButtSlam so I can heart your comment. And remember to like and subscribe to support future cock and ball torture.